So good day everyone. I am Kian Lagosablas and I am from Group 5. I am with Katrina Landar and Benedicto Manda. And today I will be discussing the Article 1339 to 1346. So first we will discuss the Article 1339, the mistake as a vice of consent. So let's start with Article 1339, which states that mistakes or error vitiates consent when it falls on the substance of the thing which is the object of the contract, or on those conditions which have principally moved one or both parties to enter into the contract. So in simpler terms, if a person agrees to a contract because of a wrong belief about an essential fact, their consent is not valid. So for example, suppose Anna buys a ring from Ben, thinking that it is made of gold. Later, she finds out it's just gold-plated brass. Anna's consent was given under a mistake as to the substance of the object, the ring's material. So this contract cannot be annulled. But if the mistake is minor, like the design or packaging, it won't vitiate consent. So in short, the mistake must be substantial, not trivial. It must affect the thing itself or the condition that motivated parties to contract. Now let's move to Article 1340, error as to incidental circumstances. Moving on to Article 1340, this one says, a simple mistake of account shall give rise to its correction. This means that not all mistakes invalidate consent. Some mistakes are just mathematical or critical errors, and they don't make the contract voidable, they're simply corrected. So for instance, a buyer agrees to pay 50,000 for a motorcycle, but when writing the receipt, the seller accidentally writes 500,000. So that's a mistake of account, not a mistake in consent. It doesn't cancel the sale, it just needs correction. Now let's have Article 1341, error on motive. So Article 1341 provides that a mistake as to motive of the contract does not vitiate consent unless the motive constitutes the principal cause of the contract. Meaning, your personal reason for entering the contract is normally irrelevant. But if the reason was explicitly agreed upon as the main basis for the contract, it can matter. So for example, Carla buys a painting because she believes it was painted by Juan Luna. That belief, the author, was her motive and main cause for buying. If it turns out the painting was someone else, her consent is vitiated by mistake. However, if she bought it just because she liked it, the author doesn't matter, no vitiation occurs. The Article 1342, mistake by a third person. So, mistake by a third person as to the substance or some principal condition of the object shall not vitiate consent unless such mistake has been mutual. The main idea is that only mistakes between contracting parties can invalidate consent. If an outsider causes the mistake, it won't vitiate consent unless both parties relied on it. So for example, a jeweler not part of the contract wrongly tells both the buyer and the seller that a diamond is real. Both relied on his statement. Therefore, it's a mutual mistake and the contract can be annulled. But if only one party relied on that third person statement, consent remains valid. Now, let's move to Article 1343, the error in person, the mistake of identity. Mistake in identity. Article 1343 explains that error as to the identity or qualifications of one of the parties will vitiate consent only when such identity or qualifications have been the principal cause of the contract. In short, a mistake about who the other person really is can invalidate consent if that identity was essential to the deal. For example, you agree to marry someone because you believe he is a Filipino citizen, but he turns out not to be. Or a company hires a consultant thinking she's a licensed engineer, but she's not. Since their identity or qualification was the main reason of the contract, it's voidable. But if their identity was not crucial, like buying from a stranger in a store, no vitiation occurs. Let's move to Article 1344, the fraud as a vice of consent. Let's go to Article 1344, which introduces fraud or dolo. It says, in order that fraud may make a contract voidable, it should be serious and should not have been by both contradicting parties. Incidental fraud only oblige the person employing it to pay damages. So there are two types of fraud: casual or serious fraud, or the dolo causante. It induces one party to enter into a contract. This voids consent. And the second one is the incidental fraud, or the solo incidente. It happens after consent is given and only leads to damages, not annulment. Let's give example to serious fraud. A car dealer tells a buyer that the car is brand new when it's actually second-hand. The buyer was deceived into agreeing. Contract is voidable. And the incidental fraud, the example of incidental fraud is after the sale, the dealer hides minor defects in the tire. The contract stands, but the dealer must pay damages. If both parties committed fraud, neither can annul the contract because they're both in bad faith. Let's have the second to the last, the 1345, the types of fraud. Article 1345 divides fraud into two kinds: the dolo causante, the casual fraud, and the dolo incidente. Dolo causante, or the casual fraud, fraud that induces a party to give consent, it makes the contract voidable. And the dolo incidente, or the incidental fraud, fraud and performance of the contract, it only gives rise to damages. Another example for dolo causante. A landowner lies that the property is free from the mortgage. Buyer agrees and pays. Later, the bank claims the land. Consent was induced by fraud. Contract is voidable. Example for dolo incidente. The same landowner honestly sold the land, but after the sale, he refuses to deliver the title. Fraud happened after consent, so only the damages apply. And let's have the last one, the Article 1346, the misrepresentation. Finally, Article 1346 says, misrepresentation by a third person does not vitiate consent unless such misrepresentation has created substantial mistake and the same is mutual. This is similar to 1342, but this time it talks about fraud or deceit instead of honest mistake. So, if a third person, not a party to the contract, delivers one party, the contract remains valid unless both parties were deceived by the same person. For example, a real estate broker, not part of the contract, lies to both the buyer and seller about the land's boundaries. Since both parties were deceived, the misrepresentation is mutual. The contract may be annulled, but if only the buyer was deceived, the seller consent stays valid. So that will be my report, the Article 1339 to 1346.